everybody, this is Cut Entertainment. I've got DJ Ryan here, and I am DJ Danny, and we are here to talk to all you brides and grooms about some of our best and worst moments from our weddings.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and it was a great wedding. Don't get us wrong, and we love each other. But
Yes, but just like anything, there's always things you kind of wish could have gone better.
right, right. So we're gonna talk about them, just some stuff to think about as you're planning your big day. Um, so we're gonna start off with things that we loved. All right, and first off, we're a DJ company. We really love the DJ. He was fantastic, very personable, great music selection, and he really did his best emceeing, killing the game, and making sure everything just ran perfectly smooth. That's a big thing when it comes to DJs. You want to be able to make sure that they know how to MC as much as
Yeah, and he really ran with everything that happened. And any little bumps or, he just kept rolling with it. It was great.
It was fantastic, fantastic. On point with everything as far as the schedule went.
Mm-hmm.
Really went smoothly. We just kind of got to sat back and enjoy the night. It was great.
That's what you want.
Right, right. But I mean, there's always a con with everything, and as much as we loved him, unfortunately, we didn't get to meet with him beforehand, which was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get more of like what we were looking for across, because they did have it was kind of cool because you could tell them what type of music you wanted and what type of music you didn't. And I'm going to apologize there because we have a very curious dog who has decided he wants to mess with our cameras. We'll introduce him at some point. But back to the DJ.
Right. Right. No. The DJ was great, and like what he did was he sent us out a little form that we got to
Yeah, we got to fill out the form
beforehand.
with like music we wanted, music we didn't, but it didn't go super detailed, so there was only so much we could and couldn't ask for.
But something I learned, back in the day as working for that big franchise company was we would do the worksheet, send it to the bride and the groom, they fill it out, but we would also meet with them like a week or so beforehand.
Yeah.
Just kind of go over everything.
Which I even remember you mentioning that when we were talking about who we were hiring, because you mentioned you were like, we don't get to meet with them,
Right.
and I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but now I get it, because there were
Right.
things we missed out on that I wish we would have been able to tell him about.
Exactly, and like something that's very important is making sure that the DJ, their personality, their DJ personality is like who you're looking for.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
we
match
really
you.
lucked out. We lucked out because our guy fit us really
did.
well. But
It was
we've been
awesome.
to a lot of friends' weddings where it was an interesting mix.
Yeah, it didn't quite make sense. I mean, but that's one of the big things that I would say as a recommendation. Just make sure that you can meet with your DJ beforehand. That goes with most vendors anyway. But definitely meet with the DJ beforehand, just so you guys make sure that you get what you want as far as your DJ and your music experience. But next step down the line, we got catering.
Yeah, we loved our catering company. We were pretty lucky when it came to that. I have some food issues, so I have to be really careful with my diet. And one of the best things about them is they were willing to work with us on that without making it like a whole big extra spiel of like, okay, well, you have to pay extra because of this and that. Like, they just worked it into what we'd already picked from.
Right, right, and we got to really get involved in the planning of the menu, which was nice. We got to pick our hors d'oeuvres and our appetizers. We got to pick our main dishes and sides and all that stuff. It was really nice and very cool. I mean, obviously, we had the bar going on, so we got to pick, because we go hard. but
Which is something to consider about your wedding. If you do have
Exactly.
people that go too hard, open bar might not be the best
Right,
situation for
right.
you.
Well, hey, to each their own, but no, we got to pick the liquor that we wanted, the beer we wanted. It was great. So,
Yeah.
So many props to the catering company on that. That was awesome. And definitely something to look out for, just as a tip, as you mentioned, dietary restrictions. If there's someone coming that might have a gluten intolerance or soy intolerance, see if they have options for that, because you might be able to get one of your guests that.
And honestly, it changes the night for your guests
It
too.
really does. It's very cool. So and if you bridegroom, or someone in your party, the real close to you, family member, ask for that stuff, because that stuff is out there. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. Like, I'm always embarrassed to ask for it. DJ Ryan's always fantastic and always goes the extra mile and makes sure he asks for me. And there's almost always an option.
Right, right. So that's awesome, and that's awesome. We loved our catering company for that. I think they were through the venue too.
Yeah, they were actually, we lucked out. The venue actually owned the catering company.
Right.
And it just, you could use other catering companies, but theirs ended up just being great.
Definitely, definitely, and I think the only bad our only bad experience was
Wasn't even on the catering company.
right. No, no, no. It was just purely on us and shit planning. We didn't. Unfortunately, we didn't take time to.
Ryan did not get to try the appetizers.
I know I didn't.
At the wedding.
They had bacon wrapped jalapenos. I was very excited, and I didn't get them.
We took so long taking pictures that we didn't have anyone save a plate for us of the appetizers. So.
But the guests said they were good, so I guess.
Yeah, the guests loved them.
Yeah.
We just can't confirm.
I got to taste vicariously sometimes, But hey, that's how it goes, right? So. Yeah, once again, that's we'll come back to that, but that's one of those things. Make sure you make time.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on. We kind of talked about the venue already. As being the provider of
the catering company. And overall, they were just a very well organized, very professional company. They are Walters Wedding Estates down in Spring Branch, Texas. I believe they actually have some locations here in the DFW Metroplex.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Austin. I'd have to double check. But highly suggest them. They were absolutely wonderful, beautiful ceremony sites, beautiful reception hall. Just very knowledgeable about their services and the wedding industry in general.
Right.
It was great.
No, it was fantastic, and this particular venue was called Hidden Falls. It was fantastic. I mean, I think we were 30 minutes from San Antonio. You know what I mean? And it was beautiful. It was like it's a waterfall. I think they have multiple venues now in that.
Yeah, they didn't when we were getting married, but now they have multiple areas, and it's even prettier.
Yes, but yeah, we got married in front of a waterfall. It was fantastic. And then right behind us was the reception hall, massive. Huge suite for the bride, huge suite for the groom.
Yes, which was really nice because you could really hang out and not worry about being off site and having to travel back to the reception or the venue or the ceremony site. Sorry, and we just got to hang out and really relax and enjoy the process as we got ready for the ceremony.
Oh, definitely, it was fantastic. So. Yeah, I definitely recommend if you guys are looking for something that fits that aesthetic with a waterfall and a very nice big open reception hall. In the hill country too is beautiful.
Yeah,
we definitely recommend it. That's out by San Antonio and Spring Branch, so go check it out.
And always go check your venues out.
Definitely.
Ask your questions. That's what they're there for.
Absolutely, because you don't want to show up day of and be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or not have a plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. But yeah, so after that, I would say definitely something that we enjoyed, which kind of fits in with the actual venue, was just the pre-wedding time. You know what I'm saying? You get some photos in at that time with your photographer, obviously. The bridal party will go shoot separately. The brides people, the grooms people, they'll go shoot and stuff. And then, but we really got to have a lot of fun. We played cornhole in the venue.
Yeah, the guys were above us, so that was a little startling.
Oh yeah,
just suddenly hear beanbags being chucked around.
Right. That's definitely something to consider. I think if you're a groom or being a bride, you know what I mean. You're gonna have some time, depending on the venue you're at, depending on your schedule.
Yeah.
Some downtime or the get ready time. Do you really figure out a way to enjoy the get ready time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't have to all be stress. And for us, it really worked out being on site because it was just, you didn't have to worry about that travel. Everything was right there, your ceremony, your reception. If we ever had to do it again, I would still do it that way.
Right, and it was fantastic. And once again, shout out to the venue for stocking the groom's area with beer.
And they stocked the girls with mimosas, which was nice too.
Oh yeah, it was very cool. So yeah, definitely, once again, plus on the menu for that. Oh my goodness! But then another thing that we really appreciated was our officiant. And that's something that I mean, I don't know how many people really put effort into making sure they find the right person, but we really did, and I think it was you, and you killed it.
Yeah, I worked really hard at finding us the right type of officiant because we had a lot of different backgrounds coming to our wedding and everything. I kind of wanted to try and fit everything in, and we just found someone who really was just very relaxed, she was great. We didn't have to worry about anything. So just do take your time. And, you know, if you want to have a friend do it or something like that, like, make it someone that's going to make it a better moment for you.
Right, right, definitely, definitely. And I think just as a bonus tip, what I would say is make sure that it kind of goes back to the DJing and the planning of the whole ceremony. Is make sure that you guys have a way of providing sound for the area. Most venues will have speakers and all that stuff that maybe your DJ
I think
can
our
hook
officiant
into.
had a lapel.
Yeah, a lapel. She definitely had a lapel.
Okay.
That's another thing. Make sure that you mic your efficient in the event that you're doing a videographer. You want to make sure that the videographer has a way for the audio to get to the camera without it sounding too, warbly because it's getting picked up by the camera's microphone.
Which
So,
that's actually something we didn't do that we wish we would have done. Is
Right.
we wish we would have gotten a videographer because it would have been nice to go back and actually have videos of it.
right, definitely, definitely. But that being said, that brings us into things we should have did better.
Thought a little bit more on.
Right, right. So this is definitely something that I think brides and grooms out there definitely pay attention to because this will definitely
Hopefully
vastly improve
prevent
your day.
some future issues for other brides and grooms.
Frustrations. Yes, indeed. So anyway, just jumping right into it, the videographer, like that would have been great.
Yeah, that's something we just didn't budget for, didn't plan on, so we just skipped right over it. And I've now been to a ton of weddings with videographers and gotten to see the videos and stuff afterward, and I regret it.
Right. I mean, listen, it kind of sounds a little corny, but like at the end of the day, it's not like you're gonna be sending these to people. It's just for you. So like,
Yeah.
if it's something you don't feel like you're gonna be into, that's cool. But like, I also because that's kind of how I felt at first, but now I kind of regret it because like,
Yeah, like in the moment we didn't care, but as the years have gone by, I've wish we would have done it.
Right. Because like there's the day moves so fast that
So
there's
fast.
yeah, it's so fast that you don't like it. Things happen and you don't
Which
even.
that's something you bring up a lot that I want to make sure we touch on. You've always mentioned like you wish we would have had a moment together
Right.
during the wedding. Like we'd take that moment aside where we just spend some time together.
Right. That's absolutely that's one of the things on this list. Yeah, and that's make sure that you make a moment
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, it goes by so quick. You know what I mean? You're first off, it's not like you're gonna be there eating and dancing and having a fun time. Now you're gonna be running around, meeting people, shaking hands, saying hi to people,
Thanking them for coming.
thanking them for coming. Yeah, talk. You gotta talk to them and say, hey, how's it going? How's the sun? Da 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 da. You know, but throughout all that, you know what I mean? The party's going on. You know what I mean? And time's a ticking. So like, it's kind of one of those.
And there's
things
also
where
just a lot of, it's just so overwhelming.
Right.
Like I can't even remember half the night.
a lot of activities going on. You know, schedules, cake cuttings, first dances, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really important if you can get 5-10 minutes to just take some time together.
And just, you know, be in that moment together. You're finally married. It's all come together. You're about to celebrate it with your friends and family. Like, take that moment together.
Enjoy it, definitely, definitely, absolutely. But moving on to the next thing.
This is my big one.
I hear about it all the time.
I really wish we would have vetted our photographer better.
Right.
Our not that our photographer was bad; their personalities were wonderful. We had a photographer and her assistant, and they were fantastic in terms of personality. But as far as the caliber of photographer I was expecting, it wasn't quite the level I would have picked for my wedding. We did a package deal with our DJ where the photographer came with it, and the best thing about that, it was a package. We knew where they were coming from. The
Right.
problem is we never got to see the photographer's portfolio beforehand. So,
Yeah, so they're unfortunately, they didn't have the quality that we felt we deserved for what we paid.
yeah, and they weren't, I mean, they weren't bad, but they definitely weren't just the level I was expecting.
Right, and part of that is this. I think you mentioned it, but it was part of our DJ package. So because of that, they're not gonna have like this person definitely assigned. It's gonna be they're gonna assign them as they come type of
Yeah,
thing.
and honestly, I didn't even question them
Right.
on who our photographer would be. I didn't ask for their portfolio. So, I mean, if you are doing some kind of package deal, I would suggest not just trusting the process entirely.
Right. Try. Ask for one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ask for their portfolio. Say, hey, do you know who you have scheduled? Is it a possibility to find out who's the backup photographer
Right.
if they aren't available to come?
Right. And
You
can
know.
I look at a sample of their work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you get what you want. And listen, here's the thing: is like I know there's a lot of brides on a budget out there, and I get that because weddings are not cheap. But
No.
you know, you want to make sure if you think something's going to be important, like definitely photography, very important. You want to make sure that hey, if don't skimp out on a couple $100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can get someone just a little bit more expensive, but you get better quality of work.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually show you their quality and like they're willing to do that, then man, it's money well spent.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
our photographers were really good at like artistic shots with like our rings and our gifts to each other. But when it came to like actual photos of like us dancing, there was just like some corny effects added and like things like that.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely something that's worth putting a little more time and money into. And then I think another thing that I always see, and I always think about this. I don't regret it necessarily, but what do you think about photo booths?
I didn't miss it in ours.
Yeah, we didn't have one, and I didn't miss it at ours. I mean, I know it's fun for the guests and stuff. Those 360 photo booths that spin, those are very cool.
Those weren't around when we got married, I don't think. At least not that I was aware of.
Yeah, they were that.
But
we
they're
might have got
cool.
one of those. That
Yeah.
was cool, but otherwise, I mean, I don't think it's cool for the guests, I guess. But like at the end of the day, personally, I'm not like, oh my god, I regret not having one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun for the guests, especially because like they just have to wait while you're taking your photos and things like that. But I don't think it was a make or break wedding moment for us.
Right.
Something that we could have planned better though with our. We did have like little cameras set up for people to take pictures on. I had no way for them to put them in the photo book we provided.
Oh, good.
So double check all your things because I assumed the photos came with little sticky bags.
Right.
They did not.
Right. Oh, and here. So, this is the other thing that I know drives you crazy.
What?
All right. This is another thing that's very important, guys. Make sure that you have options for people that party a little too hard
To get home.
To get home, yeah, because I mean, obviously, you have a little bit of responsibility for that because you're throwing the party. So you want to make sure you give people options because we would feel horrible if something bad happened because somebody got too drunk
Which is exactly what happened. So we decided we had to drive people home
right
on our wedding
back
night.
to their
Airbnbs.
Their Airbnbs
Because they decided not to stay at the hotel. So instead, we probably should have asked someone else to take them home, but we were at kind of the after hours of the whole wedding extravaganza, and there weren't many people left, and so we just decided to take them home ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we didn't know who to ask. Everybody else had been drinking and whatnot. We hadn't been, so we were okay. But yeah, that was, and it wasn't like we if you were staying in the hotels because we blocked out hotels for people to stay in, right?
And we had a shuttle back
and we had
and
a
forth.
shuttle to it, so like we had it covered for
They
those
just
people.
decided to get an Airbnb, which left us kind of in the weeds with, okay, well, they really overdrank themselves. How do we get them safely home when everybody else has been drinking?
Yeah. So we were driving around till 3 o'clock in the morning, taking them back to their Airbnbs, and then we had to drive back, and it was fantastic. And we got back, and we didn't have time to enjoy the awesome bride and groom suite that we had, or the newlywed suite that we had. And it was so
We
cool.
just passed out.
I think we both showered, we jumped into the bed, and it was good night time. So
Yeah.
and that's kind of a bummer when we had to be up. It was 3-4 o'clock in the morning by the time we got in bed. You know what I mean? So we couldn't even wake up kind of 8-9 o'clock and enjoy the day. So.
Yeah, it was we ended up going back to another hotel and then sleeping the rest of the day there.
Right, exactly.
So just always make sure you have a designated driver for people so that you don't have to do that on your own wedding night.
Definitely, just something to think about, or at least just tell them, no, we ain't helping you. Sorry, you're on your own. I guess you got to be a little more jerky. It is your day after all.
Yes. Yes.
And then I think one of the last things is always have backup plans.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of things that can go off.
You know, you have someone plan to take care of your flowers, pick up a cake. Well, all of a sudden they can't do it. Who's your backup person?
Exactly. One of the things that kind of put us in a bad way on that was actually the weather. You know, been hot as heck. We got married in October, right? And it was hot as heck in the 80s, you know, all week leading up to. And then on our day, it was in the 30s all of a sudden.
And we had an outdoor wedding.
With
no backup for an inside location.
No, and I think it even snowed at some point during that day a little bit. Not a lot. It was just, but we had snowflakes coming down.
it was interesting.
And guess what? The next day, it was in the 80s again.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, always have a backup plan when it comes to weather. Listen, can you run inside to a covered area real quick if rain comes through? Always remember that. Another thing, we were talking about the wedding cake. I had to go, day of, I had to go run to the city to pick up a wedding cake, and it took me about 4 hours to do. And that was because on the way back, I found dogs running all over the street, and I had to go save them, you know, because of Danny.
I would have been mad if he didn't stop for the dogs.
Right, yeah, so that would have been the worst wedding day ever. I was like, God, I can't do this. I got to be a hero. So that kind of threw the whole deal off. Luckily, we made it work, but it was a little crazy. So always make sure you have someone that can pick up the slack of people that think they can pick up the slack but can't.
Yeah, I mean, things happen. People's cars break down. It's just, you never know what's going to happen. Having just going to someone and saying, hey, if X or Y were to happen, can you be my backup person to handle this for me?
Definitely.
And most people are going to say yes.
Right. I think so.
I'd say the only other thing that I have kind of leads back into the photography. Make sure you have your plan and you communicate that to your vendors, because we actually didn't get good pictures of our entrance because we had our bridal party entering on the bottom and we came out on a second floor. And I don't know if we forgot to communicate that or the venue forgot to communicate that, but apparently no one else knew that was happening.
Yeah, right. So yeah, definitely. Just when it comes, photography, videography, make sure you guys, you know, go to the venue. I'm sure you're going to do a rehearsal. If you're not going to do a rehearsal when you tour it, just kind of get an idea of where you want the big shots to occur. That way you can tell the photographers, the videographers, so everybody knows, and you get what you want.
Yeah,
You know
it's
I mean?
really just little planning stuff that sometimes just gets swept up and lost in all the big planning.
Right.
I mean, that's really the biggest thing, is to just be aware of, like, hey, if there's anything you want to make sure happens, communicate it to everybody.
All right, and the last one, guys, this one's very important. Plan your honeymoon. Now, I know a lot of you probably are like, yeah, we're good, we got that covered, but if you're like me and Danny, we did have a plan, but unfortunately, you know, it was COVID 2020. We were supposed to go on a cruise, and unfortunately...
Cruises and COVID don't go very well together.
Exactly. So, I would say, like, make sure that if... make sure you have a backup plan. Like, if it doesn't go, maybe have something else you can do just in the event that something happens.
Even if it's something small.
Exactly.
You know, no one could have ever predicted COVID, so we didn't think we needed a backup plan.
Right.
But now we've been married almost 5 years, and we still haven't gone.
I mean, we've been trying, but, you know, life happens. You know, you get busy with work or whatever, and, you know, you don't do it. So just make sure you have a backup plan in the event that, you know, something happens. And if you haven't planned your honeymoon, I would suggest doing it as soon as possible, because
For sure.
Otherwise you may not do it. You may go 20 years and all of a sudden, hey, we never even went on a honeymoon.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, we're guilty of that already. So,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't technically our fault, but we still have never gotten to actually replanning it. And you always say you're not going to be that person. That was actually one of our biggest conversation points with each other, was we're going on the honeymoon because otherwise we'll never go.
Right.
And now it's 5 years later.
Exactly. So, very important, the honeymoon. But with that being said, guys, thank you for joining us.
Please make sure to mention in the comments any, pros or cons or things you wish you would have done, things you were happy you did. Share that with everybody. It's really good to always have a community of people who are willing to discuss those types of things to help you out.
Right. We want to make sure everybody has the best wedding possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the experience all the way to the end of the night, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that being said, if you guys are looking for a DJ, visit us at cuteventstexas.com. If you're looking for a DJ in the DFW area and beyond, we work primarily in Texas, but we're always ready to come rock a party. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.